with me. Oh, tiptoe from the garden, of the willow tree, and tiptoe through the tulips with me. Showers away, and if I kiss you in the garden, in the moonlight, will you pardon me and tiptoe through the tulips with me?
From the high desert.
Want to take a ride? From the high desert and the great American Southwest. From the Coast to Coast AM archives, you're listening to the best of Art Bell.
From the high desert and the great American Southwest, I bid you all good evening, or good morning, as the case may be, across all these time zones. Howdy.
Hi, Art. How you doing?
I'm doing.
So, from New York City, staying up late, here is Dr. Malachi Martin.
For a very long time, I've been on a search for some sort of proof of life after death.
Here is somebody who calls himself Single 7. Single, are you there?
Yes, I am. There's going to be the biggest UFO sighting of the century.
You're listening to Art Bell on Premier Networks. Welcome to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from January 25th, 2002.
From the high desert and the great American Southwest, I bid you all good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever the case may be, wherever you are in all 24 time zones covered by this radio program, Coast to Coast AM. I'm Art Bell. And we have so much to do tonight. It's going to be open lines all the way tonight. Anything at all you want to talk about is fair game. However, because of the final call I had last night really spooked me. And I asked the gentleman to contact me, and he did. And I've got Ken on the line, and he'll be with us here in a bit. It was the last story told last night. And I want to hear the whole story. And actually from the beginning, because I understand a lot of you would have missed some of it, and we can, of course, get it now in more detail. So what he was describing may not turn out to be, but it sounded to me like, and in fact, what we discussed last night with Mothman and all the rest of it, Mothman really is a monster, isn't he? Mothman is a monster, and so I thought, I have never opened a monster line. Therefore, I would ask any of you who have encountered what you would consider to be a monster. That's a broad category. Monster is a big category. If you have ever actually and truly encountered what you would call a monster, then I would like to hear from you tonight as the program progresses. let us begin where we left off last night. The story was getting so interesting that I asked the gentleman last night, that would be Ken, to email me and give me some contact information, and he did. And so here is my last caller from last night, Ken. Hello, Ken.
Hi, Art. How are you tonight?
I'm all right. I'm really happy you decided to come back on with me tonight. I appreciate your taking the time to do that.
No problem.
Let us begin as we did last night. You have the luxury now of a little more time, and you can tell us in a little more detail exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, New Year's Eve of 2000, we moved into this house. And
where are you, Ken?
I'm out of Portland, Oregon.
Right.
And the house that we moved into was built in 1910. So it's a fairly old home.
Right.
And from day one, Sherry, my girlfriend, something about the place wasn't right to her. You know, she just felt that there was something that was off there.
Was this a fixer-upper, that kind of deal?
It was a rental. And It was through a friend that they weren't going to rent it, but I needed a place, and they said, sure, it had been sitting vacant for like 6 months, I guess. 6 to 8 months. Later, we came to find out that the gal that lived there before just up and left.
The way you ultimately had to?
Exactly. And since then, we found out some other stuff, too. But
okay, but let's not jump ahead. Go to the beginning. You moved into the house, lucky to get in. Sherry didn't much like it. But
a little work and fix it up some, it might, come around, feel a little better.
Right.
Well, she's kind of like, she's able to really pick up on stuff. Sees things that other people don't see, or feels stuff. She's really in tune with what's going on around her. A lot more than I am, till now. But,
in other words, you would have described yourself as what? Kind of skeptical of
very
sort of
skeptical.
Thing? Okay. All right, good.
And, so, to start it off with, she said that she'd seen, like, angels around the house.
Angels?
Yeah. Which I thought, was kind of odd. And she says, well, it's a good thing, and okay, so I never seen them, but she said there was always just one out by this tree, and then he'd be in this other room. She had this thing about being in the kitchen all the time, that she felt safe there, didn't like being in any other rooms in the house, especially the front room area.
Yeah, rooms can have a feel to them.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And so this went on, and it was kind of funny because every now and then, like sometimes I'd fall asleep on the couch, and I'd be woke up to like somebody whispering in your ear, like really weird kind of like saying something that's like, like leave me alone, I'm trying to sleep, and look, and there's nobody there. So I just kind of like, I was dreaming, I just passed it off.
Right.
And then there were several times I'd be sitting in the front room by myself, and maybe the kids might be upstairs, and she was at work. I'd be playing a video game or something, just kind of biding some time, and you get that feeling that somebody's walking up behind you, like you can hear the floor kind of squeak, and you turn around and there's nobody there.
Oh.
So this would happen off and on. It wasn't, it's just kind of like, okay, just my imagination running rapid, never really put anything together. So a little bit later, then we started hearing the little girl laughter. This is, a couple of months of being there. Most of the time when I heard it, I would be upstairs in the bathroom, and it was like right outside the door, but nobody'd be there at the house. It only happened when nobody was there.
Do you have a little girl?
I have an 11-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son.
No really little girls.
No, this is, younger than what they would be, and it's just like little laughter, like he was playing with a friend. Or
just outside your door?
Right outside the bathroom door, yeah.
Audible, loud, just like you would hear it if there was a little girl.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
My kids were right there in the house.
Alrighty.
I'd be the only one in there.
Right.
And then like Sherry would see shadows move all the time in the house, you know, like, oh, there it goes, you know, it was in the front room, but I wouldn't see it. Well, then I started, after a while, catching out of the corner of my eye, seeing something move. Sometimes in the bathroom upstairs, there was a mirror on the back wall, and if you had the medicine cabinet open, you could see right into the hallway when I was shaving.
Right.
Now, this one particular day, I'm in there shaving, and I see this go from my room into my son's room.
See what go?
Shadow figure, something black, 4 feet in height, you know, like a kid or something like that.
Small.
Yeah, so
Okay.
right after that, my son comes running up the stairs, and I say, you know, hey, Brandon, is there somebody with you? And he's like, nope, by myself. I'm like, okay, just must be seeing things again, you know. So this kind of keeps going on, and then it was kind of odd because that first summer there in the house is real drafty. I mean, it's, you know, really old, it's not insulated. Well, it's, you know, 90 degrees out in the summertime, and when we come home from work, you'd have to go around and open up all the doors to let the heat in because it was so cold in the house that you'd have to wear a coat.
Right.
You know, and it's like, there's something not right. Sherry kept bringing that up, and I'm like, oh, we got the shade of the trees, you know, and, you know, skeptics, they try to, you know, make reason out of anything.
Yes, of course. The brain struggles to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I did all the time. And so this went along, and then then went through that winter, and there was just similar activity going on. And then her son come to live with us. He was living out of state and come up, and the first night that he was there, we were talking about, you know, what he's been doing and what's going on, and so we went up to bed, and he slept downstairs in the front room on the couch. I don't know, what time was it? About probably 11:30, like that. Sherry gets woke up by my son's radio in his room blasting. You know, it's like, why did he set his alarm, you know, get up? So she gets up, goes walking in there, and it's just blasting loud, and she's shaking him, trying to wake him up, and he won't wake up. And the radio, which she normally has like on all these but goodies and stuff, is saying over and over again, time to kill, which just freaks her out.
Time to kill?
Yes. So she rips the cord out of the wall, turning the radio off, walks out of the room, and there's Greg is sitting at the top of the stairs, just white as a ghost, looking at her, and he goes, I am not sleeping down there by myself. Can I sleep in your room because something has just pinned me on the couch?
Ken, hold on. We're here at the bottom of the hour. There's more to this. He was the last caller last night. You didn't get to hear all of this. Tonight you are. I'm Art Bell. This is Coast to Coast AM. Then I bet you can tell.
You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time, on Premier Radio Networks. Tonight, an encore presentation of Coast to Coast AM from January 25th, 2002.
Take a flight into strange airspace. Explore a world of mystery and supernatural phenomena. Don't take a wrong turn, though. You might run into the monsters of your dreams. This week on Greenland, Mark Smith, author of Auras. See them in only 60 seconds. Hello, I'm Art Bell. I'll guide you safely through Dreamland into the Kingdom of Nod.
You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring a replay of Coast to Coast AM from January 25th, 2002.
Ken tells me Sherry, his girlfriend, is there and prepared to verify everything you're hearing from Ken right now. I'm Art Bell. Don't move. Back now to Ken. Ken, you know, if I had encountered a radio blaring out "Time to Kill" my child's room, hey, that would be when I'd pack up and haul butt, and that's what some people on Fast Blast are saying here. It would be time to go.
That's one of the things that we have been discussing between ourselves and what was going on, because something would happen like that,
yes,
or something else, and it seemed like within 15 to 20 minutes time that it was like you never even knew it happened. Like it was some type of control, manipulation, whatever it was, or the power that this thing had.
Now, by that, do you mean you didn't remember the event, or do you mean the event just didn't seem?
It would just seem like everything just went passive on it. You know, like there was really nothing going on. You know, it was in the back.
Okay.
You know, it was like something would push everything to the back of your mind.
Okay.
I mean, even the stuff that happened to Sherry, that, you know, she would be traumatized, and it was within 2 or 3 hours, we were back to doing our normal daily routine.
Yeah, I guess that's really the way life is. I've had a lot of traumatic events in my life, and they do pass, and, you know, life does go on, as the old saying goes, and so, yeah, I understand. Okay.
And, you know, time and time again, we talked about getting out of there, you know, but it wouldn't, you know, we'd make up excuses about stuff, or something, or, you know, it didn't seem so bad. Yeah, you know, or Sherry would try to leave, like, that's it, I've got to get out of here, and I would talk to her, and she would end up staying.
Right.
You know? And it wasn't until after we were out of there that we were able to really start putting the pieces together.
Well, after this business with the radio, what then? How bad did it get? I mean, last night you mentioned that Sherry was physically attacked by something.
She was. And actually, the first time was just prior to Greg's attack. It was just before he came. It was like a week earlier. And so I kind of screwed up on my timeline there. But and she was attacked, and we just thought that, well, we won't say nothing to him.
She was attacked how?
She was sleeping in the bed upstairs and was awoke out of the sleep, being pinned with her face down. She was laying on her stomach with her face stuffed into the pillow and just being pushed into the bed. You know, she couldn't even, you know, she was able to get her head turned around, and there was nobody there. And she was just being held down. You know, and it was like... By
a completely unseen force of some kind.
Exactly. You know, couldn't see it, but could feel it.
All right. Now, Ken, it's not that I doubt what you're saying.
Right.
But if you would be willing to put Sherry on for a moment, this might be a time when she should describe what happened to her.
Okay.
Is it... She's
Hold on
willing.
a second here. Here she is.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
Thank you, first of all, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Ken was just beginning to tell me about being pinned down or something in bed, and I thought I ought to hear this from you.
Yes. Yeah, I was sleeping, and I just woke up to my face being shoved into the pillow. My body was totally paralyzed. I couldn't move. And it was a terrific amount of weight that was laying on top of me.
Did it feel like a body?
It felt like a body.
Or not a blunt weight, but a body?
A body. Yes, definitely.
Okay.
And I had other occasions where it would just come in and just touch my leg. And you could actually see the comforter indent with, you couldn't see anything there, but you could feel it and you could see the comforter move. And at times it would tuck you in just like you were a child. Not hurt you, just tuck your comforter all the way around you. It was terrifying. And it got to, after that happened, I refused to go to bed by myself. I refused to go to any room but the kitchen. I just sat in the kitchen for almost 2 years straight.
Oh, my God. This went on for
2 years. Mm-hmm.
For 2 years?
2 years.
Is it over now?
No. I hope it is. We're Christians, and we've been going to church, and we've had people praying for us, and we moved into this house, it's a brand new home, and nobody's lived here. And our first night here by ourselves, I was just rolling over to put my arm around Ken, and this horrible laugh, like it was in a tunnel, but it was right up above us, and it was really...
So, whatever this is, it has followed you.
It sure seems like it.
So it's not even over now. It's maybe there now.
It could be. I haven't felt anything.
Have you had physical marks, bruises from
I've
any...
had a bite on my back, in the middle of my back from it.
A bite on your back?
Mm-hmm.
Teeth marks?
Teeth marks. It took 6 weeks for it to heal.
Oh my God! How did this happen?
I was just up in the bedroom, and it was just, ow, you know.
You mean you were standing, laying down in bed?
I was standing in the bedroom, and it was just just pain in my back, and so I went downstairs and had Ken lift my shirt up to look at my back, and
right.
there it was.
And there's a bite mark.
Mm-hmm.
That takes 6 weeks to heal?
It took 6 weeks, and he kept putting peroxide, and it was quite something.
I asked Ken, and I'll ask you too, and maybe you'll have the same answer, but after going in to your son's room and hearing a radio blaring, time to kill,
Uh-huh.
most people would be so out of there, Sherry.
Oh, I've tried. I was so terrified. I was so scared. And yet there was some kind of a power that took over. And Ken was such a skeptic, even though he was hearing the things that were happening.
Right.
He said, well, nothing happens when you're with me.
I take it you were not as much of a skeptic.
I was not. I'd never had anything like this ever happen to me before. And I didn't know what it was, but I really believed that I knew I wasn't crazy, and I knew this stuff was really happening to me.
Well, what about your children?
Well, we kept it quiet. They're very young, and we didn't want to frighten them, but we asked questions to make sure that nothing was hurting them.
So they really weren't being affected. Oh, okay, so they weren't being affected particularly.
No, but my children, my oldest one's 26, and my youngest one is 22, and they both had incidents with it too.
Oh.
And the 22-year-old is the one that came into our room and slept on the floor that night that he was pinned. But he had absolutely no clue, because I never mentioned this to him at all until that night when he was attacked, and we told him what had been happening.
Well, it sounds like sometimes it was, you say it tucked you in, for example.
Yeah.
So that almost seems benign. That almost seems friendly.
Well, as the story goes, I thought there was just one thing there. But after the end of the story, you'll hear that there might have been several more.
Okay, but everything Ken's been telling us is basically the way you remember it, too.
Oh, yeah.
And even down to the point where after these things would occur, like the radio and the rest of it,
we stayed.
It would sort of fade from your mind in a way that lessened the importance of what had just happened, in some way causing you to stay?
No. I would have anxiety even. I didn't want to go back to the house. I tried to stay away. We were bike riders, and we...
So it didn't fade as much for you?
Yeah. It didn't fade as much for me. I was terrified.
Like, do you have any sense, any idea of why you thought the kitchen was a safe place?
I didn't have the feeling of, any other room, it was just, like it just go up your spine. You could just feel it like breathing on you. And
all of that was not present in the kitchen?
It wasn't in the kitchen.
So you spent a lot of time in the kitchen, no?
I spent 2 years of I wouldn't go watch TV even. I couldn't sit in the living room at all, which would aggravate the family, but I was that uncomfortable. I could not sit in any room but the kitchen. And then I would stay up and wait until Ken would go to bed at night, because I would not go up and sleep in that bedroom by myself.
God, that's like some kind of prison.
It was.
For you.
It was a prison to me. It was really horrible.
Okay, well, I may ask you to come back. I don't know, but I wanted to hear your words, and I just have. You can remember as plainly as day that radio blaring out?
I can remember everything just as if I'm standing there. Yep, everything is very clear.
Okay, let me talk once again to Ken, if I could, please.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, Ken.
Howdy.
Okay, so I guess we haven't even heard it all yet?
No. There's more.
Okay.
So, oh great, the phone's going to start going. Yeah, go up and get the other phone. Let's see, where are we? After Greg had been pinned, there was a time he went out one night, we were setting up, and was talking in bed, and we heard the door downstairs shut, and we heard girl laughter, and we thought, oh, Greg's home, and brought some friends with him. So she gets up, Sherry goes downstairs, comes running back up there. There's nobody there, which there was nobody there. He never came home that night. And so just little things like that kept going on until he had a girlfriend move in with him, and Jamie started encountering...
It sounds like you're getting ready to change telephones here or something.
Yes, I am.
All right, well, that's not a problem. You know, I mean, here's your wife almost not willing to come out of the kitchen. How were you handling that?
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Hold on a second. Let me turn this volume up if there's one on it. Where's it at?
Okay, you're on some other phone now?
This is great. Are you there?
Yes, uh-huh. I'm here.
Trying to get this volume on this phone to...
Can you hear me?
Can you hold on for just a second?
Sure, sure. Sounds like we are having technical difficulties.
I got a phone problem.
Yeah, I can tell.
Oh, great.
I'm hearing you all right. And
there we go.
And by the way, you need to turn the radio off in the background if you can.
Okay, she's downstairs with the other phone. She must have just hung it up.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Now,
Yeah, there we go.
What I asked you, I'm going to ask you again now, Ken.
Okay.
You've got a girlfriend who is spending almost every day for 2 years in her kitchen.
Right.
How did you handle that?
Very difficultly. You know, I sat in there with her most of the time and stuff. It was like we knew that we needed to move, but we didn't have the funds available to. We were just getting by at the time.
Right. What kind of work do you do?
I'm a mechanic.
You're a mechanic. And does your girlfriend also work?
She was laid off at the time, so,
Okay.
you know.
So she was home all the time.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But she would try to stay gone, you know, during the daytime if I wasn't there.
But yes, I understand. As a skeptic, what did you think was going on? I mean, did you think that she was having problems, or had you seen enough of this so you knew she wasn't having problems? It's just that you all had a problem.
Well, that's kind of it. You know, it was like.
You don't have to answer any of these. I'm trying to get to the bottom of how you reacted.
Right. Well, I started getting really frustrated about it, is how I ended up reacting, which is, it's kind of weird because since we've gotten out of there and we've been sitting there talking about it, it's like, you know, I knew what was going on, but something wasn't letting me deal with it the way that I should have.
Uh-huh.
You know, it was like there was whatever it is that's there, it has an agenda. It's got a plan of something that it wants to happen.
Did you ever get an idea of what you think that was?
I don't know. We've talked to a few people. There's one guy in particular that I've really done a lot of talking with, that he's done a lot of ghost research and on properties. Anyway, he does a lot of research on the history, like, you know, a place where that's haunted.
Right.
And he'll get the history all the way back to the original landowners.
Right.
And try to find out what's happened on that property.
So what do you know about that house?
That's the thing. We've been having a little problem trying to find. Yeah, I need to get a hold of Historical Society to get the original back stuff of what's going on.
All right.
But I did find out that there was a family that lived in the house 20 years earlier that in the middle of the night left and never came back. Left everything behind. Food, clothes, toys, everything. Furniture.
They just left?
They just left.
Strong hint there, Ken.
Mm-hmm. So we didn't know. We didn't find that out until after we were out.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, and it's like, whoa, you know, we start, you know, because I'm really trying to research this stuff and talking to people, and come to find out that there's several houses in the area there that have hauntings all the time.
As a skeptic, when your wife pulled up her blouse or whatever, and you saw a bite mark on her back, how'd you react to that?
It was like, how in the hell did that get there, you know? I mean, I knew she didn't have it earlier, so it's kind of like...
In other words, at what point did your skepticism fall away to, I suppose, terror?
That would be the morning that I seen it.
It? This dark, small, whatever.
Yes. It's a week's time, but as this built up into this chaotic frenzy of us bailing in a very rapid fashion.
When you left the house, right?
Right.
Okay, so it got suddenly much worse.
It did. Greg and Jamie had moved out, and that was the point where it started getting worse. They moved over to Eastern Oregon, and they're over there now.
Okay.
And after he had left, the activity started picking up. So this one friend of ours, she come over and had like some ideas on how to get rid of, you know, the ghost in the house or whatever it was.
Right.
And was trying that, you know, and it's like Sherry's going, she's pissing it off. You know, she's really making this thing agitated. And
what was she doing? Religious sorts of things?
We had done it. We had anointed the house. We'd, you know, prayed in every room. We commanded it by the name of Jesus Christ and God to vacate the premises, you know, and rebuked it. And whatever it wasn't going to leave. And we found out later that some things take a whole congregation of people to get rid of.
Huh.
But,
so what began to happen in the last week?
Okay, so she had come over here a few times trying to get rid of this thing. Then,
ticking it off.
Anyway, Sherry and Wendy were outside at the tree out there, and Sherry's going, I really feel something out here by this tree. So to humor them, I went out and dug a hole. And a friend of mine, he's search and rescue, and I worked with him for years doing search and rescue.
Wait a minute, you dug a hole?
I dug a hole.
They said there's something strange by it. Did they conclude beneath it, and is that how you started digging, or did you decide to dig?
This is the thing here is the house is built on a knoll, and we found out that the place that was across the way was intended to be a mortuary. So that leads me to believe that in the pioneer days, they used knolls as like family burial sites.
Well, Ken, what did you think you were digging for?
I don't know. I was going to dig a hole to appease them so that I could get some rest. This is 9 o'clock at night in the dark of the light. I'm out there digging this hole. I'll tell you what, I'll call my friend up, have him come over with his dog that he uses for finding buried people or drowning victims.
Yes.
And if it hits on the hole, then we've got something. If it doesn't, okay, you know. So we go to bed that night, get up in the morning. Sherry was working at that time. She left just before I got up. I got up, come downstairs, and I'm pouring a cup of coffee and look out the window, and the hole's filled in.
What?
Yeah, the hole's filled in.
How much of a hole had you dug?
I dug it like it's 2.5 feet around by 3 feet deep.
That's a big hole.
Yeah, and it's filled back in. And so I called her. She called me on her lunch break and asked her if she filled the hole in, and she said no. And I talked to Wendy, and Wendy said no. And I was like, okay, and nobody filled the hole in. How to get filled in? So then that was like a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Right? Harry was going to come over on Friday, couldn't make it until the following day on Saturday. So he came over with his dog, which the dog did an alert out by the tree, but it was a real mild one, but it wasn't in the same spot. It was about 3 feet away.
From where you had to...
Right, from where I had dug. It did it.
Ken, hold on. We're at the top of the hour. Just stay right where you are. Oh, this is one for the books. One from Oregon. Ken and Sherry. I'm Art Bell. This is Coast to Coast AM. In the nighttime.
You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring a replay of Coast to Coast AM from January 25th, 2002.
This is Art Bell, inviting you to join me every weeknight for interesting and controversial talk from Area 51 in Nevada, UFOs, time travel, the paranormal. Well, if you're talking about it, or possibly just even thinking about it, you can guarantee we'll be covering it. It's Coast to Coast with me, Art Bell.
presents Art Bell Somewhere in Time. Tonight's program originally aired January 25th, 2002.
Over the years, this has to be one of the best or worst, depending on your point of view, I've ever heard. We'll get back to my sort of temporary guest, I guess. That's how it's happening. Ken and Sherry with quite a story about a house in Oregon. Oh my, that house. Stay right where you are. Well, all right, Ken, we're down to the last week, the last straw, I suppose, in a way, huh? Last straw, the last
couple of days there anyway.
Was absolutely the last straw. All right, what happened?
Okay, so Saturday, I had my friend Harry come over with his dog and work the property, and it hit on that one spot by the tree.
Right.
Well, we went and put him in the truck, and we walked through the house, and Harry's got a digital camera, and he took some shots and stuff like that, see if anything happened to come up.
Right.
But he goes, well, tell you what, he goes, why don't we take her down to the basement and see what happens down there.
Take the dog?
Yes.
Okay.
So you go down in this basement, and when you go down these stairs and you turn right at the bottom, and it opens up. It's an unfinished basement. It's all dirt floor. But somebody put like plywood up on the right side that goes down and angles over, making a room, like an old storage room or something.
Right.
And he opened up the door to that and went in there with the dog, and that dog literally turned inside out. It did not want anything to do with that room.
Oh.
I mean, I've seen dogs react doing death alerts, and this was like a major one.
Death alert.
Yeah, that's what it's called. And the dog, we took it out and went upstairs, and it took like a week for his dog to calm down from that. He said the last time he seen the dog like that was when he had it in Turkey at the earthquake.
Did either one of you go back down to that room?
No.
Smart.
And because I've seen my buddy, I've never seen him scared. And we've been in a lot of predicaments when we did search and rescue and stuff, and I know him really well, and he had the look of terror on his face.
That was enough for you?
That was enough for me. So we went up and we talked for a while. We were going to get together that Saturday night and go out, get away from the house, try and calm ourselves down. My kids were at my folks' for the weekend. And so we ended up going out that evening, and when we came back, I ran down to the store because Sherry goes, well, run down to the store, and we need this real quick, and I got something I got to do, and I come back up. She's in the basement.
She's in the basement?
She's in the basement, in that room with a shovel and a flashlight, going, I'm going to get you.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yes, that was my thoughts. I come down there, and she just freaks and goes running out of there. So we talk about this stuff, and I go, you can't do this, I mean.
You had told her about the room and the dog and all the rest of it.
She was there when it happened.
She was there,
yeah.
So she knew about all this.
Right, exactly.
So she knew something was in that room or under.
Right, or something's, been there for some time, or that's where the power or whatever it is there that's coming from, or, I don't know. But whatever it is bad. It's pure evil. It's death.
So you find her with a shovel in her hand saying she's going to get it.
Yeah.
God, Ken. So then what?
Well, we go upstairs and we're talking, and it's like, I'm trying to get a level head view of this thing, and it's like, oh my God, I mean, we got to do something about this, and she says we have to do something because somebody is going to get seriously injured or killed, is what she says, and it's like, okay, so we go to bed that night. Now the next morning is when this happens. Well, actually, right after that is when I got upset after we had this talk, and I go, that's it. I go, all right, whatever you are, show yourself. I'm tired of this. We're going at it, and I really got upset, and I was walking through the house ranting and raving that I wanted to see whatever it is, show yourself now. Nothing, So we go to bed, get up in the morning, take a shower, go back into the bedroom there. I got the stereo in the rooms playing. Threw my sweats on and my slippers and T-shirt. We're going to go downstairs, and we hear this, what I said last night, this thump, I mean, heavy. I can go up and down the stairs. I weigh 180 pounds, and I don't even come close to making the sound that this thing was making.
Huh.
And I look at her, and it's like, who's in the house? And so I turn and I look out the window, because our driveway comes up and wraps around, and there's no cars there or nothing. And the dog's laying by the end of the bed on the floor, and I look at the dog, and the dog's head is just starting to turn sideways as it's looking through the doorway, at what's coming up, and she barks at everything.
And there's something big coming up.
There's something coming up, and she's not saying a word, just her head's just turning. And so I step over, and Sherry steps over, and here it comes up the stair. Whatever it is, it's pure black, as black can be. I mean, I've got a black snap-on jacket, and it was as black as that.
What kind of shape? Shaped like a human again, small?
No, this is big. This is like
big.
6'2".
Oh.
Bigger than me. I'm 5'8.5", and I'm looking up at this thing, and it's got this enormous head, and then this body, but you can't see like arms or legs, but you can make out the shape of this enormous head that comes down, and then this body comes out from it that goes down to the floor, but doesn't touch the floor.
Oh my God!
And it's like its head's tipped down, like it's looking at the floor where it's going, and it gets up like the stairs end, and then you got where the platform goes all the way around that you walk on, and it just starts rotating towards me as it rotates to the right, and I'm standing there looking at this thing.
Not on feet though, just rotating
just rotating
in the air.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the dog, and the dog's looking at it, and it's like the dog's saying like, well, screw me, and Sherry just drops to her knees, and there's just the thought going through my mind is, if this thing looks up, I'm done. I'm dead. This thing is coming. Has an agenda. It is right now. It has decided that it is going to do some damage, and it starts coming towards us. And it's just like, I don't know if you ever seen the movie Alien, where there's a part in the film where it comes at the one girl in the spaceship, and it's just like in slow motion as it comes to her. She's just freaked out. That's the way this thing was coming. Like there was nothing I could do, and it was going to have me. And as it came towards me, it got just about to the door, and it just turned to the right and was a blur, gone, blink. And she just screams out, "Did you see that?" And I'm like, hell yes. Did you see the size of the head on this thing? And I run to the door, and I look out expecting to see this thing right there, but there's nothing. All the doors are shut. There's no light in the hallway except for the light that's coming from our room, which is just a light through the windows.
I'm just speculating, Ken, but it sounds like when your wife was downstairs with that shovel in that room, it knew it had been found.
Yeah.
Do you think that could be right?
I very well think that could be right, and whatever is there does not want to be disturbed.
I wouldn't disturb it for anything. One more time, if you don't mind, may I speak to Sherry?
Sure.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Hello.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
Everything he said so far correct?
Absolutely.
Sherry, could you tell me what took you down to that room with a shovel in your hand? Can you remember what went through your head to get there?
Yes. I was so fed up with all the stress of it, and I just wanted it to be gone. And I believe that whatever was in the house was probably buried down there because of the way the dog acted.
Right.
This dog is like 99% on, and
so you were fed up.
I was fed up. I wanted released from it, and I didn't care what it took to get rid of it.
You were going to dig it up.
I was going to dig it up. The only thing is that there's concrete under that gravel, and the shovel wouldn't go through it, so...
So you were trying when Ken came down?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. Sherry, the being that Ken just described that came up the steps...
Uh-huh. That's exactly what I saw. We've drawn pictures of it, and that's exactly what we saw. And it was so unusual. I was so happy because it's shown itself to me before, but it's never shown it to two people at the same time.
So it was a relief to you that he finally saw it.
Saw it. He was no longer a skeptic.
All right, I sort of wanted to understand what was going through your mind that took you down there with a shovel. That's pretty radical stuff.
Oh, I know. But if you'd been through all that, you would have probably done the same thing.
All right, I agree. Thanks for talking to me, Sherry, and put Ken on one last time.
Okay.
So?
Okay, so at this point, now you've both seen this thing. Your skepticism obviously is long gone.
Oh, yeah, that already made it out of the house.
So at what point did you two say, that's it? That must have been the point.
Well, this is... Anyway, so that was later, well, actually the next day, or later that night, that was it. Because I look out there and there was nothing there, and I turn around and she's backpedaling towards the windows,
right?
Trying to find some security, get her back up against something, and I, run in there and I grab her, come on, and I look out the door and it's clear still, and it's like, come on, Chewie, and down the stairs we went, and we ran out of the house. So we're standing out there in the driveway just trembling, shaking, and I'm like, oh, my wallet and my keys, they're on the dresser in the bedroom. Great. That means I got to go back in the house.
Yep.
So we just kind of hung out there for a little bit and went back in, and normal. It was like nothing going on,
There were photographs taken, and you've got a photograph of some kind of creature, don't you?
Yes, I have. There's several in the picture.
Several?
Yes, there's several that look like monsters, and then there's a couple that look like demons, and a human-looking guy that's looking over, looks like a tombstone.
A tombstone. In order to get me these photographs, you don't have a scanner on your
don't
computer?
here at home, no, I have to go to a friend.
So you could go to a friend's and get these scanned and send them to me?
Yes, I could.
You're the hell out of that house now. Although you may not be done with this thing, or it with you, I guess.
Right. We've had some episodes since we've left there.
Do you want an investigation? Do you want some sort of... it sounds to me like some sort of college or a paranormal investigation team should be in that house, or maybe not, maybe with you. But certainly somebody should go look at that little storage area in the dirt basement.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Since we left the house, it kind of made it to where the landlord's kind of back in control, and he doesn't really believe us.
He doesn't believe you?
No.
And yet he probably knows the history of somebody else who's run out of that house a long time ago, right?
Exactly.
And still of course, I guess a landlord probably wouldn't want to... do you know whether anybody new is there now?
No. Right now he's in the process of laying new carpet and painting. And in fact, I have to go there tomorrow. I still have a 2-car garage that's set off from the house there I have a bunch of parts in and a couple cars to move, because we left the house 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and we're just now getting to the end of getting stuff from there. That's how bad it was.
My God.
To go back there, that night after we'd seen it, and I took the photos that night because there was just this ball activity of like little plasma balls and stuff going through the house.
Right.
And we went to bed that night, and the activity moved from downstairs up to our room. And Sherry went to sleep at like 11:30, and I laid there till 3:30 watching this stuff. And I gotta go to sleep. I'm looking, it's like, almost 4 o'clock, and so I gotta get up and go to work. So I lay in there on my side, and I close my eyes, and the next thing I know, the comforter is just sucked around me, and I'm rolled over flat on my back like I'm in a mummy bag, one of them zip-up sleeping bags that you can't hardly move in.
Right.
And I don't know what it is because I can't see it. It's on top of me, and it's pushing all the air out of my lungs, to where I can't breathe, and I'm struggling, and I say Sherry's name, and like, Sherry, as hard as I can, trying to get her name out, and, I'm trying to look at her, and she opens up her eyes, and she looks, and I said her name again, and she kind of looks at me like, what? And I was able to say it one more time, and she sat up, and then it quit.
This thing was trying to kill you.
That's what I think. I felt like it was like partially into my body. It was pushing me down in the mattress. I mean, I was being pushed into the mattress. And it was trying to suffocate me or kill me. Right there, she would have woke up in the morning and thought I died in my sleep.
So in your opinion, the landlord wouldn't have a thing to do with any sort of investigation of this house?
I really highly doubt it.
Do you feel like you should be talking to the people who are going to next rent it and warning them?
I very well probably will. We've discussed this, that could end us in some type of lawsuit or something like that, but...
You're right.
To have somebody go through what we went through, I don't want to see that, because whatever is there is evil.
How convinced are you that whatever it is may have followed you and be with you now?
Because when we moved from there to the other house we were at, we had several incidents that happened there, and then it managed to calm down, and we got the house that we're in now, and we had been moving stuff in here. My kids were staying the night at their friend's house over by the old place, and we were here alone. The first night alone in the house here, and we'd went to bed, and like Sherry had told you earlier, she was laying there in bed, and she like literally jumped on top of me. She goes, "I'm scared," and I hear this this echoing, like kind of in a dimension, but not the one that we're in, like in a tunnel. Like if somebody off in the distance, going from the bed out the doorway of the bedroom. And I just thought, like, you bastard, here's this evil laugh, like, I found you.
Yeah.
Guess what? But that's the last thing that's happened here. It's really odd. And yeah, we've been going to church every week, and,
This is one last question I want to ask, and again, you don't have to answer it, but have either one of you considered the possibility that whatever this is coming from one of you?
We were thinking about that, but neither one of us ever had any experiences like this until being in that house. Ever.
Have you talked to any other media about this?
No, I have not, other than the one guy that he's wrote 4 books. And he gave me a lot of really good information that's really helped to protect us.
But you haven't done any other interviews until now?
No.
Okay. What I want to do is stay in touch with you and Sherry, and I want to know how this comes out. All right?
Yes, I would be happy to let you know how it comes out.
I hope well, and I wish you both well.
I'll get those pictures back to you. You can study those for a while.
And put them on the website with your permission.
Okay, we'll discuss that.
All right?
All righty.
Ken, thank you.
Thank you. You have a nice night.
Say goodnight to Sherry. Okay. Onward. Monsters, the subject for tonight. I guess that was a pretty good warm-up, wasn't it? From the high desert, I'm Art Bell. This is Coast to Coast AM.
You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time, on Premier Radio Networks. Tonight, an encore presentation of Coast to Coast AM from January 25th, 2002.